Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in with me today. My name's Camilla and this is going to be another one of my moon journals. This video is actually going to be about manifestation, and it's been something that I'm super excited to talk about for a very long time just because I feel like it's definitely helped me in my journey. And so I want to share my tips and share what I've learned about manifestation with you guys, and hopefully be able to connect with you guys and see some related feedback. I love the term manifestation because it makes me feel like we kind of have this like magic power that all of us kind of use on a daily basis, but we aren't like really aware of it. Manifestation itself, you don't really have to understand it, you don't really have to be able to know what it is, but just know that the laws of the universe work in miraculous ways, and manifesting is something that if you're completely aware of, it can become very fun to do, and you can find playfulness in trying to make your desires your reality. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and subscribe. Thank you. There's a lot of things that I want to go over. Manifestation actually has a lot of different subgenres that I'm going to talk about, and yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start off by talking about a little story of someone who actually inspired me to do this video. I was actually at a festival not too long ago, and I put my intention for the festival to try and manifest the things that I want in my life the most that I could that weekend. And just by me putting the intention out there, a lot of really funny and like just coincidences, which I don't believe in coincidences, started happening to me. And as I was sitting by one of the stages, which I was by myself, my friends had left me by that point, and I was sitting by myself, and I was kind of just like telling myself, you know, like trying to understand manifestation as a whole. So then this guy came up to me and was like, you know, like, hi, like, what are you about? I just want to get to know you, blah, blah. So we just started exchanging information about our lives, and we really connected. And it turns out that he gave me this like thorough breakdown of manifestation. He's actually one of the top podcasts on Gaia, which was super amazing to like meet him. And he's a very spiritual person that actually gave me so much insight and so much information that I was kind of missing to do this video. And he kind of put it in a way that helped me understand it a little bit better. And I'm gonna kind of explain what he told me. So he basically explained it to me as in time, and the concept of time, and the reality of time, and how time is only existent here in our world, in on Earth, but as soon as we leave into outer space, there's no time. Time does not exist. So if time is a man-based thing, then the reality is that the future has already happened and the past has already happened, leaving us here to live in our current moment. And by thinking that, I think the fun thing that I really liked about what he said was just to be able to put the concept in your mind, or the thought in your mind, of knowing that time isn't real. So the way he put it to me was, if time isn't real, then the best version of Camilla has already happened. Meaning the best version of myself has already done everything that she wanted to in her life, and completely aligned and got all of her desires granted in her lifetime. So my job here on Earth would be to try and align myself with that version of myself that is the greatest, most amazing, closest to God, closest to divinity type of version of myself that I can connect with. And if you can just start by just having that as a thought and trying to actually picture yourself in a great, amazing type of person, and if you can think and really ask yourself, what would the best version of myself actually be doing? Would it just be doing what my selfish desires are, or would I be fulfilling humanitarian desires, and would I be fulfilling other things to help the world that can also align with my personal desires. Instead of being selfish, I need to think in a way that is the greater good. So if you can just put that into thought and really sit there and think, and something that I'm actually going to start doing is trying to do this in a meditative way, where you go into meditation with the intention of asking yourself if you can show yourself that version of yourself, and trying to see her or him, and trying to really be able to connect with that, and trying to see what that person would be doing and how they got to where you want to be. Because I need to follow an example, but that example, like all of the examples that we kind of follow are here, like in our world, it's through social media, it's through TV, and it's like we need to actually be looking for examples of ourselves. So if you can just at least picture, or at least try and start picturing that amazing version of yourself, and that amazing person that got everything that you want, and really try to dig deep and think about how they got there, then your job is really easy to just follow in those steps. And when you kind of have that in your mind, you start to realize that the more throughout your day, well, for me personally, I catch myself trying to be that version of myself. And by doing that, manifestation comes so much easier, because everything kind of just happens, everything kind of just comes to you. And that's the funnest thing ever, when you notice that you've been really working hard at bettering yourself and trying to connect with that higher self, and trying to be like that higher self, to be able to make all of your desires, because they're coming from the purest intentions, a reality. And so now, that was just a quick little story. So now I'm gonna actually dive into everything that I wanted to go over. And once again, thank you for tuning in. I know all my last video was kind of long, but I just want to thank you guys for listening to me. So one of my main points is state what you want out loud. You have to start putting everything out into the universe. It doesn't just like come from a thought. You actually have to try your best to put it in the three-dimensional world that we're living in. If you think about it, your thoughts are kind of just engraved in your mind, which, yes, you can practice hard to try and manifest all of your thoughts. And I mean, everything does start with a thought. So you are on the right path if you're already trying to manifest through thoughts. But it also helps if you put it into our three-dimensional world, making it a bigger possibility, because you're stating it, and you're also, whether you write it down. I have a little dream box that I keep in my room that my best friend Donna gave me, and it's been the coolest thing, because I literally write all of my desires and my intentions, and I just put it in the dream box. And just doing that itself, it kind of like puts into perspective to you what is in your mind is a little bit different than what actually comes out. And when you notice that, you can actually depict what it is that you truly want, because what goes on in your mind might be a lot different than what actually gets put out. And when you realize, oh, maybe that's not exactly what I want, then you can go ahead and change that. But if you only leave it as a thought, then, and you're not clear with that thought, then you're not really going to be able to make anything happen. So another point is, it all starts from your inner spirit and what you truly want with your inner spirit. And your inner spirit is always trying to talk to you, and always trying to let you know what it wants. And that is what we call following our hearts, because our inner spirit is always trying to connect with us and trying to let us know what path to go on. And if you don't know what you want specifically, I would suggest really digging deep and like really listening to your emotions, because emotions are everything. When you realize that your emotions are what controls your manifestation, and you realize that emotions themselves are a part of a magnetic pull that pull everything into your life. So just how emotions can connect to our soul and really let us know what we want, our thoughts are also ways that we can see connection to our soul, and that we can try and depict what we truly want. Our thoughts, you know, everything that we have lingering in our thoughts, whether it's, oh, I don't really want to be doing this, oh, do I really enjoy this? You need to really listen to yourself, because at all times you are talking to yourself, you are trying to give yourself advice. So if you can just be able to depict and be able to understand your thoughts and be able to really control the way that you think, then it becomes a lot easier to really understand and come through with what you want. Things manifest when you become completely committed to what you want. And I think that's like the hardest part, is like finding complete commitment towards a goal that you want. And that also comes with being super specific with what you want, but also being disattached and not having an attachment with the specificness. Like, I want to get this car, but it has to be a Mercedes-Benz and it has to have this type of interior leather. And like, you can be specific, but things manifest and you're opening up to so many possibilities if you have a very clear desire without the attachments of real things. And I think that's where we kind of get mixed up, is when we get so attached to like all of our desires, and we get attached to, okay, I want to make this happen, but it has to only be this way. You're closing yourself off from like so many other possibilities in which can lead to what you want. So you have to keep your desires specific but very open and not be attached to the material things of the world. Manifestation itself just brings awareness to what we're creating, and being aware is one of the best feelings in trying to actually like make your own frequency and make your own vibrations around you. You don't really have to understand the universe, but someone great once said that to understand the universe, you actually have to just think of vibration and intuitive levels. So I know it may be for those people who are skeptical and are like, no, you can't just think and it's gonna appear. Just think about it in a universal law of which you can literally make anything you want in your life happen. And we see it all the time with people who are very committed to one goal and are specific with that goal, but also lose attachment. So back to talking about emotions. I think this is one of the biggest things, just because people aren't really aware of how to control their emotions. And I think this is where a lot of the world gets lost in, is in losing that awareness of what you're feeling and trying to really overcome your emotions to try and only vibrate on a high frequency level and not a low frequency level. And what I mean by a low frequency level is your weakest emotions. I think on a vibrational frequency chart, I would say that shame and guilt would be at the lowest vibrational level of emotions. Those are the two emotions that can actually keep a person in depression. And when you're not aware that what you are currently feeling and you're not doing something about it to get yourself out of that feeling and rise above the weakest and the lowest frequencies of your emotions, then you're going to be stuck there just because you're not aware. So just how with someone with an addiction, you have to become aware that they have a problem. Just how all of us go through being sad and all of us go through hard things in life. We have to become aware of how we're making each other feel and how we're making ourselves feel inside by only vibrating on the lowest frequencies of emotional levels. So if you are depressed and you feel like you can't get out of this, the first thing to do would be to really dig into your emotional balance. At least try and get yourself to a middle point of being calm, of being understanding and being accepting of everything that's happening to you. Everyone goes through hardships in life, and I think the first step to getting out of depression and getting out of sadness and getting out of traumas in your life is to really pull yourself out of it and be aware that you are the one doing that to yourself. And I think that's probably the best news, but it's probably the worst news to hear, because you understand that you're the one doing this to yourself, but it's also great to know that you are the one that can pull yourself out of this. But yes, as far as emotional balances, we need to be super aware of what emotional vibration we are leveling on and really, really try our hardest to either be at a very middle level of emotional vibrations, or at least try, and if you can at least get yourself to that midpoint of just being calm and understanding, then from then on, you're only going to be rising up the scale of emotions. And emotions are really like magnets. If you're constantly feeling down, if you're constantly feeling sad, angry, and all of the weakest emotions that we have through our ego, that's what you're really going to attract in your life. And this is why people always say stay positive. This is why we see everyone on Instagram trying to lift each other up. Stay positive, stay positive. It really means just staying on top of your emotions and being able to, no matter what goes on in your life, be able to overcome it and tell yourself, I'm not going to let myself vibrate on the low frequencies. I'm not going to let myself be a part of my weaker emotions. No matter what goes on in my life, I'm going to use it to my growth and vibrate on top of that and use it to my most advantage. And that's where manifestation comes. One of the easiest ways that I've learned to do this is by really, really trying to connect with my higher self, like I told you guys earlier. Really getting that picture in your head of yourself being the best version that you can be. And whenever you feel down, whenever you feel sad, what's been working for me is to really tune into her or him and really, really think, okay, what would she be doing? Because since she has already gotten everything that she wants in that life, and she has already basically succeeded in everything, that must mean that she in no way could vibrate on a low frequency level. Our higher selves would never vibrate on a low frequency level. That is why they are our higher selves. That is why they are the closest to a divine Godhead type figure that we could really picture, because they only vibrate on love, they only vibrate on peace, they only vibrate on stillness, calmness, and they only vibrate on the highest of the emotional vibrational levels that we have. And by doing that, you literally attract the best in your life. By being that, you literally have everything that you want in the palm of your hands, because you're giving that, and just like karma, you are going to get it all back. By only vibrating at a high frequency level of emotions, you also start to see a lot of possibilities that you would have never been able to see if you are stagnant in the lower vibrational levels of your emotions. So if you see this, you will be able to see the world in a different perspective. You will be able to see all the possibilities come to you. You'll be able to see newer possibilities emerge that you would have never been able to see, because they are being blocked by that negative ego. They are being blocked by yourself, really, because you're not letting yourself be open. You're not accepting. And I think one of the keys to life is really surrendering. I think all of us are so attached to our pasts that we don't let ourselves be connected with our future selves. We don't let ourselves be connected with that version of ourselves that is great, because we're so caught up in the old version of ourselves. We're so caught up in the past. So in a timeline kind of way of thinking, really let go and surrender to the things that have already happened, because you should only be trying to connect with your higher self. Doing this will really bring out the inspiration. Doing this will really bring out that new business idea that you would have never thought, because of all blockage and all of the negative emotions that you're feeling that are blocking all of these beautiful ideas from you. So by just being open and accepting and surrendering to that feeling of negative emotions, you are truly opening up the possibilities of new thoughts, of new ideas, inspiration, and all of these positive things that come from just aligning yourself with that higher self. And also, like, taking risks may seem like one of the hardest things for us to do, just because of that attachment, because we have such a big attachment. And my next video is really gonna be one of my next videos. I don't think my next one will, but one of my next videos I really want to go through with talking about attachment. And but as far as this, by letting go of that attachment that we have and really taking risks in our lives and really doing and putting ourselves in that uncomfortable place. I think I've like, before I actually really became aware of manifestation, I always would tell myself that I liked being put in uncomfortable situations because I knew that something would come from it. And it's really like that. If you are in a comfortable situation, you're not being open to all of the possibilities that could be because you're feeling secure and you're feeling closed off. So if you really open yourself to that, to that letting go of the attachment of risk taking and not taking risks, I promise you that you are going to be able to see all the possibilities that you never thought of or saw before. And I think in life, it's all about taking risks. You're not really living unless you're taking risks. You should have some type of fear, but then your own self-drive should be stronger than that fear and should push you to do those things, because it's you listening to your heart and you being in tune with what you truly want in life. And when you become in tune and you listen to your heart and you listen to this higher self version of yourself and you listen to those thoughts and those emotions that are telling you what to do and how to find your path, that's when all of the success for you comes, because you're actually listening to your soul and you're becoming in tune with your soul. And I think all of us really lose that touch with our soul because we're vibrating on such a low emotional level. I think a lot of this video has to do with really being aware of our emotions, and I hope I put that into perspective for you guys, because being in control and being aware of your emotions and taking a breath to realize that this is not how the Camilla that I want to be would be acting towards this situation, and changing my emotions to be able to really connect with what she would be doing is something that has really led me to finding huge possibilities for myself and really aligning myself to be that great person that I want to become. And and I'm really happy that I'm doing all these YouTube videos. I'm trying to be more consistent. I know I say that every video, but it's hard. But thank you so much, you guys, for really listening and tuning in with me. So why don't you guys try with me, because this is something new that I'm also going to try, is really going into meditation with intention of visualizing yourself. And the more you practice this, I believe the more that you'll be able to really see her or him and really be able to connect and really be able to follow the path that you want to go on and really be able to see what you truly want, because you're going with the intention in a meditative state of showing yourself what that version of yourself would be doing. So thank you so much for tuning in with me, you guys. See you next time.